Hello, beautiful souls. This is Mehrnaz bringing you the astrological update for the lunar eclipse. So we just entered eclipse season, and this year, 2020, has quite a few eclipses, much more than usual. And what an eclipse season means is that a lunar eclipse, which is nothing but a full moon on steroids, you could call it that, has very similar energies, is then followed by a solar eclipse, which is a new moon, again, amplified. So we're having that same cycle again. We have our lunar eclipse today in the sign of Sagittarius, and the solar eclipse that follows on the 21st. Now, let me talk a little bit about eclipses. So eclipses over years have had a very wrong misconceptions, and the ancients used to fear the eclipses. So the first thing I wanted to address was to not fear eclipses, because what eclipses simply do, they are absolutely very strong astrological portals. So don't get me wrong, they do have a very strong effect. They amplify a lot of stuff that's going on, but they only amplify what is already going on. So what that means is, with the lunar eclipse, which is an exaggerated full moon energy, and as we all know by now, the full moon energy is the energy of endings before the solar eclipse brings the new beginnings. This eclipse simply quickens what already should be ending to begin with. So if there is something that's kind of been hanging around in order to finish up, this is going to amplify and completely finish that up. Or close a specific door in order for a new door to open. And this is a very strong energy of release. Okay, generally that's what a lunar eclipse brings. So if there's something that you've been putting off that you've been wanting to do for a while, the eclipse will just come and amplify it, and suddenly it feels more like an external energy coming inward, not so much in your hands, but it will release that for you. And you can of course set your intention and help that release process, or be mentally prepared for it, so when the release wave comes through, that you can ride it smoothly without feeling a lot of shock. Because eclipses tend to bring sudden changes, but they're only amplifying what was the inevitable, so that you can jump quicker into your destiny that you're meant to go to. So they are portals that give us a jump, in a sense. If you look at them that way, whenever you look back, you will see what happened. So now, what is happening with today's alignment? So we have a strong Mars square with this eclipse, and Mars, as we all know, is the god of war and also energy. Now with the square alignment, it's a very there is anger and agitation in the environment, which we're all seeing. Whatever is happening around with the riots and all of that, but it is that energy of strength to speak up for justice type of energy, but it always brings an element of violence in it with that Mars square energy, or anger or agitation. So as above, so below. Whatever is happening on the macro level with Mother Earth is also more or less happening inside of us, for most of us. So be mindful, if you're feeling a sense of anger, be mindful of how you phrase it, how you approach it, and so on and so forth. So this is an energy of drawing borders. Now, with Venus, Venus has been retrograde for a while now. It's almost we're in the it's been almost like a month, 3 weeks on it at least. And when Venus goes retrograde, Venus, the planet of love and the things we value, tells us to kind of look inward, because retrogrades are all about going inward, withdrawing that energy, and look at who we love and what we value and how they're affecting our lives. So again, it is another drawing of borders energy, very similar to the energy of this lunar eclipse. So now, the other thing that's going on is that the eclipse node, the moon's nodes, eclipses also are on different axes. So the lunar eclipse is in a sign and the solar eclipse is in the next sign. So we were in the nodes of the Cancer Capricorn eclipse for a very long time, which was all um, about the mother versus the internal mothering energy versus the external fathering energy, or what we love versus where we're stuck with doing things that we're supposed to do versus the things that we love to do. That was the Capricorn Cancer axis, and now we're moving into the Gemini Sagittarius eclipse axis starting this eclipse season. What that means is Gemini talks about with Sagittarius in the South Node, we're releasing the Sagittarian energy, which is about Sagittarius is all about justice, aiming high, expansion, and higher wisdom. But we're taking it on, we're taking those energies as we go along that we've learned, all the higher wisdom we've learned until now, and we're bringing it into the Gemini energy, which is about just joy, things that feel expansive, happy, things that resonate more with our energies, things that feel joyful. And so we're coming out of any kind of environment which may have felt restricted, even if that meant that it was good for our higher learning, into the energy of a more fun, social type of Gemini energy. But with Gemini, as the Gemini energy comes into play, there are our Mercury retrogrades are going to be much more stronger, because that's the same energy, and at the same time, the Gemini energy, like I said, is allowing yourself in a situation which allows for expansion. But Gemini can also like move from one project to the other. So you may start a project, and if it doesn't feel right, or if you may kind of redo it or move to another one way too quickly. So make sure that you take a deep breath and try to see if you can finish off what you started. But at the same time, if it doesn't resonate or feel right, feel free to move on to the next thing that comes up, right? We also have a Jupiter conjunct Pluto energy. Now, what that is Jupiter is all about higher learning and the happy expansiveness, and Pluto brings the strength to it. And then we also have Neptune in Pisces. Neptune, the most inspirational planet, the most spiritual planet, the most artistic planet, in the sign of Pluto, the deep, deep water. So there's the energy of the Mars square with the fire, and then there's the energy of Neptune in Pisces, which is deep water. And with that kind of energy, we can use it well for creative projects, spiritual downloads. It's a beautiful energy to be in circle, to meditate, and to get creative inspiration for projects. And the Mars brings strength to it. So does the Jupiter, the planet of higher learning, which is strengthened by Pluto, gives an additional oomph to getting inspired and getting ideas for any kind of creative project. So that is the energy of this lunar eclipse. It's the energy of a strong release, So please do your release rituals. Please take a piece of paper and write down everything you want to release from your life, situations, habits, belief systems, people, anything that no longer serves. And at the same time, use this flowy energy. It probably is hard to kind of stay on track or like do stuff like finish your taxes right now because Neptune in Pisces is all about that flowy energy. It's beautiful for art and spiritual things. So use this energy to just go with the flow and get that creative inspiration and go inward and meditate and kind of chart your life going forward, the projects, the plans, that keep in mind that you may rethink and reword them very soon with the Gemini influence, but at the same time, very beautiful energy for creative inspiration. So enjoy that, and please send love and energy and healing to Gaia. Let's pray and hope that all the people out there, while they they understand the meaning of justice, and as we rightfully fight for justice, we also do it in a manner where violence does not create more violence and completely nullifies the purpose. So please pray for Gaia, please pray for peace on earth, peace, justice, inspiration, and higher learning. Thank you. Have a blessed lunar eclipse, and I will come back for the forecast for the next solar eclipse. So as we are in eclipse season, a couple of things to keep in mind is if you had any food that you cooked right before the eclipse, it's considered that the environment goes through certain energetic changes, and it's always good to donate that food, or even like feed it to the birds or anything like that, and prepare fresh new food and take a shower after the eclipse, and just completely start fresh right after the eclipse is over. So for most of us, the eclipse is over depending on the time zone we're in at this point. Okay, thank you. Have a beautiful day.